Welcome to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast, where we unlock the power within and navigate the journey of your self-discovery together. I'm Shaz Sini, your spiritual mentor and life coach, here to help you tap into your inner guidance system and manifest your best life. Whether you're just beginning your spiritual journey or looking to deepen your practice, this podcast offers insights, techniques, and inspiration to elevate your consciousness and transform your reality. Get ready to shine your light and embrace your true potential. Remember, the answers are inside you. Let me be your guide on earth. Welcome back to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast. Today I want to talk about something that I see happening constantly in the healing world. And I think it's something we need to have a real honest conversation about. There's this growing idea that healing can happen in one day, one breakthrough, one session, one enormous cry, one release, and everything automatically just magically disappears. In the healing world, there is no magic blue pill or red pill or whatever color pill you want to call it. It is a layered process where you release and change one aspect, emotion, memory, or story at a time. After a session, yes, absolutely, you're going to walk out lighter, clearer, transformed, and completely free of a pattern. One single pattern at a time. We didn't get to where we are in one moment. It took multitudes of lessons, of traumas, of events, of put downs, of whatever is going on inside of you to occur. They were layered upon layered upon layered. And to clear them, you have to shed them one layer at a time. Now, healing, I love it. I do it all the time. I have experimented and tested most of the healing modalities, not all of them. But I have a growing concern. I've seen a lot of posts lately of practitioners telling you one single session can change your life. I'm sorry to say I don't believe it. I have been working in the healing industry since 2008. I became a Reiki master practitioner. I've been working on my own healing in my mid-20s and I'm now 53 years old. I have yet to see one single healing modality fix everything. And I don't want anyone to fall for it of just come do my session and you're going to automatically be cured. Think about it, right? You go see a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or you do any of their therapies. It takes time. One psychological session is not going to cure you. One moment in time is not going to erase 50 years of history. You can do it one layer at a time, one process at a time, one emotion at a time. And too many people don't want to invest in themselves in that way. Some of these processes, yes, unfortunately, can be costly, but so is traditional therapy. The great part is there are many of the processes, once you learn how they work and once you know the tools and the way it is adjusted and altered within your body, you can redo them at home time and time again, all by yourself. So learning the modalities, learning the tools, and going to a great practitioner that will give you tools to work with after your session is an awesome thing. And this is literally why I created my Shine with Shaz coaching program, because I teach you all the tools, all the layer by layer. You have to get rid of the past to come back into self, to identify who you are in order to progress and move forward. And so many people don't want to put in the effort. And yes, I know it's frustrating and you've done the books and the meditations and seen therapists and you think you've done it all, but you still feel like you're nowhere. You're actually so much further along than you realize. You just have to give yourself permission to embrace and embody the change. And this is part of the step that everybody leaves behind, right? When you go and heal an old thought, belief, pattern, label, or program, you have to then fill it with what you want instead. And too many people don't bother topping it up with love, with presence, with affirmation, with really positive change of thoughts and beliefs and values. And therefore, what happens is you create a gap and you take it out in a moment. And if you haven't done the work behind the scenes to discover what you really desire instead and fill it with worthwhile investment in that way, it comes back again. You get back into the same old pattern. You get triggered by the same word. You get upset by the same program because you haven't actually rewritten it. And this is the part that I want to help you understand and guide you towards, simply because it breaks my heart on so many levels to witness people that go to these gurus and these sessions and workshops, and it blows my mind how some of them get sold out with the trash that they're telling you about. And everyone's all gunfire because you feel fantastic in that minute. But no one talks about the aftermath, the crash down, the lack of support when you go home and you're not in that high-flying environment. How do I know? I've been there and I've done that. I've tested some. There are some great gurus. There are some fantastic coaches. There are some fantastic healers out there that make all these big, bold promises, and I want to go find out for myself. So I go and attend them, and in the moment you do, you feel fantastic. Everything feels like it's all working. But the pattern and the program underneath still exists. The unconscious mind isn't fully changed. Even with hypnosis, and I'm working on it myself for my weight issues and trying to reprogram the pain and the hurt from the abuse and trauma that I went through, one single session's never enough. Because all I do is find one portion of the belief or the event or a single process in it, when it's not the only one controlling the scene. It's not the only one running the pattern or the program in the unconscious mind that is causing the bad behaviors, the procrastination, the lack of action, the self-worth issues that sit beneath the surface. All of these take time, energy, and multiple tools in order to get it fully aligned. This is one of the great reasons why I truly love the process of EFT tapping, because it does totally take out the old program and inserts a new one. But even that one session is never enough. When you come to me for some EFT tapping, I give you a script and you're meant to go home and do it for at least 21 days, if not 67. The big problem is a lot of people go, it's too hard, I give up, I can't give myself the time and energy. Then you come back a month later going, it's not working, all these problems, my anxiety's back and everything's going wrong. And when I ask, are you doing your tapping daily? No. Then what do you really expect? Trust me, you did not get to the state of where you are right now in one lesson. It's compounded. It's repetitive. It is piled on, one on top of the other, over and over and over again. And unfortunately, the only true way to heal it and to get back to who you really are and embody and step into the power and essence of what you want to be is undoing it one layer at a time. The same with anxiousness, anxiety, overthinking, people pleasing. You can't rewrite it in 1 minute. Imposter syndrome, you can't get over it in a moment. But with tools, with access, with constant repetition and the reprogram of the unconscious mind into the new reality that you're building, you can certainly overcome it with ease. It just takes time, new habits, constant commitment, and the ability to give yourself permission to change. One of the hardest things I ever had to discover about my own healing journey and that of some of my clients is no matter how much they sort of want something to do, unless they're 100% committed on board, no change will ever happen. You can't heal someone for them. You have to work on it together, and you can't make them do the work. It's only when you're really committed to change that you'll get in and do it. The easiest way to think about this is when we're looking at health and well-being in the body, right? I didn't get this heavy and overweight and unfit in one day. It took the best part of 50 years to get to where I am. And it's going to take the best part of at least 6 months or 12 months of dedication, of strong commitment to undo it. And that's the pattern process you have to get into. Too many people don't want to do that. And we just sit there and go, oh my God, it's happening again. I don't like what I'm doing. I eat the wrong foods. Change is so hard. Trust me, I'm struggling with it myself. I drink Coca-Cola and I'm trying to cut back and get it out of my system. Technically, I have a sugar addiction. I can't just go cold turkey because it creates headaches and migraines and frustration, and it's just easier sometimes to go back and have a Coke. And this is what it's like with any form of addiction. Most people have to take multiple times to quit because the detox is hard work, the reduction is hard work, the body has to adjust. And we get into modes and patterns where it's just easier to keep doing the same thing even though we know it's bad for ourselves. Because sometimes that actually feels safe. And so many times discomfort and moving and changing and altering your core beliefs and the way you think and healing is a very uncomfortable journey. But it's actually less uncomfortable than staying the same. You have to work out the real reason why you want to make this change. And that why has to define every single thing else. It has to be the most important factor in your life. This is why most people only ever really make health changes when they're diagnosed with disease, because they have a perfect why. It's up to you along your healing journey of what is important for you to heal, why is it important, and why is now the most appropriate time for you to take that action. But trust me, there is no single way to go to one session, one guru, and have this monumental change that stays completely. Don't get me wrong, I've seen some of them last for months or even a couple of years. But the patterns will always come back unless you get to the root cause and unless you fully change the way that you live your life and step into a new identity. This is the part that people struggle with. Who do you really want to be? Who are you even right now? Identity work is the biggest part of the healing journey because we're so used to our traumas and the labels and definitions people have put on us. When you take them away, we no longer know who we are. And quite frankly, that's really scary. Because if we have unwanted thoughts and negative opinions about ourselves with our traumas, heaven forbids what's going to happen when you take away the traumas and you've still got the pattern of the negative thought or belief about self. It's even worse at times. That's how we get into self-sabotage. That's how we go back and repeat it all over again. This is how people on a weight loss journey can lose all the weight, but if their underlying thinking and the program and the patterns, the real core of how they got to be how they are, never changes, they'll gain it all back again. This works for emotions, happens with finances all the time. These patterns, these healing things that we have to change, have to become core, soul level alterations. For without it, there can be no growth, no true healing, and eventually you will get back into the same pattern. I know people that have gone and done the healing, and it's lasted for sometimes 5, 10, even 15 years. But if you get pushed so far and re-traumatized or re-triggered by previous traumas and you don't really deal with it all, you will go back to the original pattern. It especially happens with people around addiction. People cannot take a drink for 20 years. have a setback, have a great loss, get into a state, or be put in a situation that triggers a memory, and they can go straight back into it. Smokers often find this. They give up smoking for many, many years. They go to a party, have a drink, got to have a drink, got to have a cigarette, get back into it. Same with drugs, alcohol, food addictions, sex addictions. All of these things can change and become, once again, if you don't heal the core patterns behind it. This is the reason why I want to discuss it, is the other factor that is quite disappointing to me as a person, a human, and a practitioner, is many practitioners out there want to make you dependent on them for your healing. And that's just unhealthy. That creates codependency, and that doesn't serve or help anyone. Part of the journey is the rediscovery of self and identifying who you really are. And each part of healing, they're tools, they're methods that help you, guide you, and uncover aspects of self that are hidden from you. And once you know the tools and the way to do it, many of them can be done for self. Don't get me wrong, there are certain modalities that do need a practitioner to do them for you. Kinesiology is one, hypnosis is another. But at the same time, you don't need to go to a kinesiologist every single week for the rest of your life. Because once you remove the layers and the patterns, that's where true healing starts to occur. And that's where you start to re-identify with who you are, step into the power of what you're doing, know what you're becoming, and the focus is moving forward. The main work in all of your healing journey is done in the privacy of your own home, mind, body, and soul. Practitioner is there to guide you, to steer you in the right direction, and help you tap into that untapped potential that lies within, and to reactivate aspects of self that have been hidden down beneath those layers, to help you reconnect with your soul, to bring you back to full awareness of the power that lies within each and every person. And that is their goal. That is their journey. And they do it through many different modalities. But the modalities only truly work if you change the mind along the way. And it doesn't matter how much people try and hypnotize you, program you, if you're not ready for it and you don't do the continued work afterwards, it doesn't stick. Because what will come along is you'll go back and a childhood memory will come up, someone will trigger you, a phrase will happen, or you'll be recycled into that trauma mode. And the real empowerment is not ever not going back into a trauma response, but knowing how to get yourself out of it really quickly. Having the tools and the knowledge and the processes and practices to stop it in its tracks and to move forward so you don't go back into the deep cycle of self-hatred, of pain, of massive stress. These are the aspects of the healing journey that you really need to step up and take full responsibility for. Because when you do that, even when an old pattern or an old trigger comes up, nowadays when I get triggered, it's the greatest gift on earth. I'm so thankful to the person because it's showing me a layer of self that I was unaware of. Because nothing will ever rise to the surface until you're ready to get through it. And then I go back into my processes, my healing, my EFT, my Ho'oponopono, my sometimes kinesiology, journaling, Reiki, whatever it needs. And there are times when I need a practitioner myself. So I'll go and see someone for assistance in that way. Because we're not an island and we're not meant to do it all for ourselves. But at the same time, we're not meant to be stuck and tied to somebody else for our own healing journey. That is disempowering rather than empowering you. But the main thing about this is that many people have to understand healing is not overly dramatic. Yes, you can have massive breakthroughs. There are breath work practices that can cause massive somatic changes within the body. There's somatic practices that can do the same. Kundalini activations can do that. You can manipulate people's energy to have massive responses. And that response can be a massive breakthrough at the same time. But when it's done in the wrong mindset and without true care, you can actually break people rather than heal them. That release is not the only thing that needs to happen. As I said, once you let something out, it must be filled with something else. And this is the part that disappoints me, is there's not enough people out there filling it with what you want. You can't take out a space and leave an empty hole. It has to get filled with the up level, the upgrade, or the new programming. Otherwise, the old one just comes back again. This is the part that I want to warn you about and help highlight, not just to bring you to my program. That would be great, but it's not the solution for everybody. It's just to become aware of who is fully responsible for your healing journey. What are you encouraging with other people who offer these instant cures? It's a classic in the online business space. I come across posts every single day. Just come and do my process, my program, and everything will be fixed. Follow this method and everything will change. One of my favorites is there's half a dozen people out there that I got Claude or ChatGPT to write me these prompts, and following these prompts, I turned myself into a millionaire. And I'm able to do this. You just have to follow my process. And by following my process, you too can become a millionaire. The process is to sell you a program that doesn't work and you pay them for it. And that's how they become a millionaire. They become great marketers at selling a lie because the process actually doesn't work. It works for them because they're con so many people who want the same outcome. But if you go and actually look at their followers, they don't actually get the outcome. Don't get me wrong, there are some fantastic people whose methods work. But they also tell you it's not done in one prompt, one process, in one day. Anything that tells you they can build a business for you in one day is lying. It's not possible. It takes a lot more effort than that. And so does your soul and the healing aspect of who you are. You have to re-nurture yourself. You have to go and love yourself, your inner child, your shadow aspects, all of the parts of you. You have to revisit some of those things that happened to you, not to relive it, not to get locked down in it, not to get bogged down in it, but to review it from that happened. Who am I now because of that? Because there's no changing the past, right? And this is what a lot of people like to tell bullshit stories about, and it blows my mind totally. Oh, you can just go and reprogram the past and then it's like it never happened. It's not that simple. We reframe what happened by acknowledging, appreciating, accepting, and realizing it didn't break you. You didn't lose. It actually helped you become exactly who you are today. You can't erase history. It doesn't work. Because the minute you deny that happened in the first place, your soul's going to go, well, I didn't get that lesson. Let's go do it again. And they'll bring someone else to do it to you. The whole reason we want to heal and let go of the past by acknowledging and accepting it for what it was is so that you don't have to walk through it once again. I had a client come to me in despair because they'd been to one of these guru programs and they promised that they would fix them and everything was great and they thought the world was fantastic. And part of it was getting rid of narcissistic behavior and toxic relationships. And they were empowered. They loved themselves. But they never fully come to terms with what that relationship taught them and how to recognize it in the world for what it is. And because they were so gung-ho, they were easily manipulated and they were told things that they believed through manipulation. They didn't notice really what was going on. And then they attracted the exact same relationship with another partner. and they didn't know how to escape it. And that's where we get into a hell of our own making. The healing journey is for ourselves and our soul, but it's also to make sure that we don't have and attract relationships with other people that cause us more harm in the long run. It's so we can actually love ourselves enough to understand who we are and accept all of us without categorization, true unconditional love and acceptance of self. So we then can attract the same in someone else. Don't ever go looking for what's missing in you in another person. You're not going to find it. You're just going to find deep, dark lessons that are going to hurt you. You need to find what's missing within yourself. This is part of the healing journey, going through the discovery of who you really are. Knowing what you need. What is the most important aspect that you desire in your life? Because for everyone, it's different. We all have different wants and needs. Collectively, you may think, oh, we all want the same thing. We want house over our head, a job that pays the bills, food in our tummy, a family, a lover, whatever it may be. But it's not actually true. We all don't want the same relationship. That's why there's so much variety in life. No two human beings are exactly the same. Even when you find ones that are mirror image and are pretty close, they're not exactly the same. Even twins are not exactly the same in any way, shape, or form. The only person that can really understand who you are is yourself. Yes, a mentor, a healer is a guide to help you uncover that, but never let them define who you are. Never let them program boundaries in for you or put labels upon you. Yes, we want to somatically release, and sometimes having a good cry fest, a shout fest, or doing work that allows that energy to pop out. It is phenomenal. It's quite orgasmic. It's just a beautiful feeling. The problem lies after the fact when you don't fill it with what you need to fill it with. And if you don't embrace that love and acknowledgement of self and stop judging yourself, criticizing and putting yourself down, shutting up this itty bitty shitty community in your head, all that's going to happen is it's going to get filled with negative vibration. And that will create its own circle. And then we'll go and uncover and dig all the references, all the evidence that already exists in your timeline to show you that to be true. So be mindful when you're seeking a healer. Be aware of what you really want out of it and take responsibility for your healing journey. I wish to God there was a magic pill that I could magic shift this body away and become everything that I wanted. But I know it's not true. And I know through my own healing journey of healing my CPTSD and getting rid of all the disease that I created in my body, that none of it happened overnight. Sometimes it took years. Years of healing, of practice, of process, of journaling, of connection, of Reiki, Ho'oponopono, EFT, hypnosis, timeline therapy, Psych K. I've had so many different healing opportunities, breath work, sound healing. All of those things matter, but not one is going to change your life. One process may change your life. Quite frankly, kinesiology, when I first had it back when I was 20 odd years old, shifted so much in me, but it didn't cure me in one session. And nothing is certainly going to change on a forever basis over a single weekend. So be aware of what's out there. Know that there are real healers that explain and can tell you it's a journey. It's a commitment to self. It's a lifestyle change. It has to be. Because otherwise you're just going to break down again. And then what happens when we break down again? We want to medicate it. We want to drown it out. And we get into substances that don't agree with our body and well-being. Make it easy for yourself. Step into the power of who you really are. Own your healing journey. You deserve this. You have so much more power to change who you are with ease if you just give yourself permission. But you have to be authentic about it. You have to own responsibility for all the things that happen to you. You have to remember that you won. I don't care what happened in the past. I don't care what you've been through. You won. You're the biggest winner there ever is because you're still here. And that matters. You are who you are because of what you went through, not despite it, but because of it. Embody that, embrace that, love that, appreciate and honor that. Because sometimes we go through deep darkness. I can tell you, I've been to hell and back. Not once, a few times. But deep inside, there's a spark of light that exists that believes in so much better. That understands there is so much creativity in this universe that we can have all these great things if we give ourselves permission to rise up, embody, and embrace. But I had to go through a lot of dark, deep work in order to get here. Too many people don't want to face it. I went and did a session with family constellations once because it was another aspect of healing that I was very interested in. And even though it was a very confronting time, it actually caused more disruption because I didn't have the knowledge that I have now of how I had to rebuild it. So this conversation isn't something that I'm just judging from afar and criticizing people because they're doing better than me and they're making more money or whatever chaos you want to put around it. This is just an ethical aspect of understanding of the purity of who I am. I see great marketers out there tell you things that are just lies, and it hurts my soul. I do everything I can not to judge others, but I know from experience of treating and working with so many clients and doing my own inner work over all of this time, there's no magic pill. There's no quick fix. And there certainly is not something you can overcome years and years of trauma in one single session or a weekend or even a retreat over 5 to 10 days. If you actually go and look at all the people that go and do retreats over 5 to 10 days, they become addicted to them because they keep going to do them over and over and over again. It becomes highly addictive. Healing and some of the high frequencies that you can get, as I said, healing and release can be quite orgasmic. And it becomes addictive in its own way. But as long as it is progressive and you do learn who you are, understand what you've been through has made you who you are. And this is where we get to choose who we want to be moving forward. How has that made me a better person? How has that given me the tools, guides, and understanding to choose what I'm taking on next? And the one thing I do want to express and help people define clearly, when seeking a healer, look at all the different aspects of their life. I've seen this question raised, would you trust a healer who's going through their own disease? Now, depending on the depth of that disease, there is nothing wrong with a healer going through it because sometimes it's the pathway they have to walk in order to help others. But they have to own it. They can't shy away from it and they can't deny its existence. I know my body weight was gained as a protective measure from my years of abuse. I now am openly working on changing that decision, altering that, and I take full responsibility for it. And when my triggers come up, I do the inner work. You can watch certain healers, and I've watched it in the circle of psychics I work with and healers of what's going on in their real world as to how much healing journey they're really on. You can see the fallout in their life. Be real, be honest, open up about yourself, do the inner work, and for crying out loud, practice what you preach. Find someone that's walked the pathway and really look at what's going on in and around them and make sure that it's not all smoke and mirrors, right? There are some really powerful people that know great marketing can show you all these wonderful successes, and it's not actual truth. This is why I endeavor not to lie in my practice. I just tell the truth. Is my business exactly where I want it to be? No, but I'm working my ass off to make it so. I'm grateful for each and every client that comes my way. Each and every journey is a new discovery of self. And I know the methods work because I do them. And I only share them because I test and measure them first. This is where I want you to be. Find someone that's walked the pathway. Never go to someone telling you they can cure something that they've never had as a disease or a problem in their life, or that they don't have witness to, reviews about, or other people supporting their claims. And trust me, usually if it's hyped up, hyperactive, and looks too good to be true, it generally is. Healing is dark, dirty, messy. It's crying, it's shouting, it's screaming. It's depressing half the time, but it's worth it. Because when you really clear the core, embody and embolden yourself with who you are underneath and choose how you show up in this world, it's freaking phenomenal. And quite frankly, you deserve it. Everybody does. So ask yourself this. Are you truly ready for the healing journey to step onto it and show up, be authentic about it, take responsibility for your own life, your own healing journey? Or are you just looking for the magic pill out there? Because trust me, in 5 years' time, for those searching for the magic pill, unfortunately, it'll fall apart. Do the work now, and in 5 years' time, you're going to be flying high. You're going to have everything that you want. A focused recovery, a great life. And the best part, when things happen to you, because we can't ever stop the world turning around, and events are going to happen and things are going to show up, right? That are going to test us, that are going to put us back and make us question things once again. You'll have a toolkit, you'll have a powerhouse, and you'll have an essence of self that knows exactly how to deal with it. And then you'll focus, create better, and choose wisely. That's all that matters. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you don't miss an episode. You can also follow us on Facebook with the links below. Until next time, trust your intuition and let your spirit soar.